Congratulations, you've just been born. Except, bad news. It's the year 1310, somewhere in rural England, and the chances of you surviving past 5 years old are basically a coin toss, maybe less. Welcome to the medieval world. Forget warm hospitals, cute baby blankets, or epidural. Your mother gave birth to you on a straw-stuffed bed in a one-room hut that smells like a barnyard because, well, it is a barnyard. You're sharing space with a couple of goats, a pig, and that one chicken that won't shut up at night. Midwives, doctors, the best you're gonna get is a village woman whispering prayers, muttering something about humors, and maybe throwing herbs into a pot to smoke out the evil spirits. And yet, here you are, squalling and red, immediately baptized because if you die tomorrow without baptism, well, eternal damnation, kiddo. That's the logic. Being a medieval child means you basically live in dirt. No. Really, you crawl in it. You eat food that fell into it, and half the time, you are covered in it. You've got no toys, unless you count a stick, a rock, or the vague possibility of a carved wooden sheep your father hacked out during winter boredom. Education? Forget it. Unless you're born to the wealthy elite. If you're a peasant, the only schooling you're getting is how to not get trampled by the ox when it plows. At best, your mother might sing you a rhyme to keep you from chewing on sharp objects. Literacy? Not happening. You'll grow up never reading a word. But hey, you'll memorize prayers in Latin, even though you don't know what they mean. And hygiene. Oh boy. Your bath schedule? Non-existent. You might get dunked in cold river water during summer, but mostly you're rocking the medieval perfume, sweat, livestock, and smoke. Medieval people weren't completely filthy, though. They wiped down, changed clothes now and then, used herbs to freshen up. But by modern standards, yeah, you stink. The thing you can't escape as a medieval child is death. Every cough could be fatal. Every fever a gamble. Smallpox, measles, dysentery, you name it. Half the kids in your village won't make it to adulthood. You'll attend funerals before you even understand what death is. Sometimes it's your sibling, and then there's the accidents. Wells, fires, wild animals, no helmets, no safety nets, just Darwinism in raw form. But if you do survive past 5, congratulations, you're considered a real person now, which means it's time for your training. Here's the thing about the medieval world. Childhood doesn't last. There's no concept of teen years as we think of them. By 7 or 8, you're already helping in the fields, hauling water, gathering firewood, and trying not to spill the stew you're stirring. If you're lucky, you'll have little pockets of fun, festivals, songs, games like stickball or wrestling in the mud. But make no mistake, life is work. And that stick you played with yesterday, today it's being used to whack the sheep into line. If you're wealthy, maybe you're shipped off to another noble household to be a page or squire, learning manners and swordplay. If you're poor, you're stuck in the cycle of planting and harvesting, until your back aches before you're even fully grown. But don't get too comfortable, because famine, plague, and war, they're coming for you. Congratulations again. You somehow survived childhood. That already makes you a statistical miracle. You didn't drown in a well. You didn't cough yourself to death at age 4. You didn't get mauled by a boar while trying to herd pig. Good job. But now you're in your teens. And here's the bad news. You are officially an adult at, 13. Yep, you've gone from child to worker bee faster than a TikTok trend disappeared. Forget high school dances, awkward acne phases, or figuring out who you are. Who you are is whoever feeds the family and doesn't die in the process. Your day starts before dawn. And when I say before dawn, I mean it. Roosters are screaming. You're up. You're moving. If you're a peasant, congratulations. The fields are calling. You're plowing, planting, weeding, harvesting, year in, year out. It's backbreaking work with wooden tools, bad shoes, and weather that doesn't care about your survival. Too much rain, crops rot. Too little, they die. Either way, you starve. If you're a man, it's farming, maybe blacksmithing or carpentry if you're lucky enough to have a skill. If you're a woman, you're not off easy. You're hauling water, heavy wooden buckets that make your shoulders ache. You're cooking over smoky fires that sting your eyes. You're spinning wool, weaving cloth, tending animals, birthing children, lots of them, and trying not to die from it. Your life is measured in chores. Days blur together. Monday feels like Thursday feels like like Sunday. Except Sunday, you get a brief pause for church. Though honestly, sitting through hours of Latin chanting you don't understand isn't exactly a raid. Romance. That's adorable. You don't get married for love. You get married because you need another pair of hands in the house, or because your family's arranged it when you were 10. If you're lucky, your spouse doesn't smell too bad and doesn't beat you too often. That's about as close to a fairy tale as you're gonna get. Kids? You'll have them, because contraception is not really a thing. There are herbs, amulets, whispered remedies, but most don't work, and the church calls them sinful anyway. So you're gonna end up with a brood of children, half of whom will die before adulthood. Harsh math, but that's medieval reality. And yes, childbirth is terrifying. Women die constantly from it. Midwives do their best with herbs, prayers, and experience, but without antiseptics or safe surgery, complications often mean death. She went into labor and never came out, is a line people say all the time. So, what's on the menu? Spoiler, not much. If you're poor, bread is life. Thick, coarse, dark bread. You eat it with watery potted. Basically, vegetable stew. Every day. Meat? Rare. Cheese? Sometimes. Ale? Oh yes, lots of ale. Not because you're partying, but because water is often unsafe to drink. You dream of feasts with roast meats and spiced pies, but that's for nobles. For you, food is fuel, not fun. Starvation is always lurking. One bad harvest, and you're gnawing on bark, mixing ground-up acorns into your bread, or begging your Lord for mercy. Oh, and famine isn't just hunger. It weakens you so much that the next disease steamrolls through the village like a bulldozer. Which brings us to, you have no doctor. Well, technically there are doctors, but good luck affording one. And even if you could, their treatments are questionable. Bleeding, leeches, potions made of ground-up pearls and unicorn horns. Spoiler, it's probably goat horn. Every scratch could get infected. Every fever could be fatal. Toothache, that tooth's coming out with pliers. No anesthesia. Broken bone, you'll live with it, crooked. And then there are the plague. Famously, the Black Death, bubonic plague, rolls through Europe in the mid-14th century, wiping out nearly half the population. Imagine living through that. Neighbors dropping dead in days, carts piled with corpses, priests muttering last rites non-stop. It's not if you'll encounter it, it's when. Every medieval life is a gamble. One thing that does make life bearable, or terrifying, depending on your outlook, is religion. The church is everywhere. Every Sunday, you're at Mass. Every holiday, you're fasting, feasting, or doing penance. Everything is explained through God, saints, demons, or witchcraft. You sin? Confess. Do penance. Your child dies? God's will. Lightning strikes your barn? Must have been a devil. You live in a world where explanations are spiritual, not scientific. And this is both comforting and suffocating. Comforting, because you believe suffering will be rewarded in heaven. Suffocating, because you live under constant threat of hellfire if you screw up. Priests wield immense power. The church calendar dictates your life, even the little things. When you can eat meat, when you can dance, when you can marry, all run through the church. It's like an omnipresent rule book you never agreed to. As if famine and disease weren't enough, there's war. Lords squabble, kings fight over land. Crusades call men to march off and die in deserts they've never seen. Soldiers might ride through your village, torch your fields, take your food, and leave you starving. If you're a man, you might be conscripted. If you're a woman, you're vulnerable in a world where armies don't follow polite rules. Violence isn't rare. It's baked into the fabric of existence. And crime? Oh, punishments are brutal. Steal bread, lose a hand, gossip about the wrong noble, get whipped. Justice is more about spectacle than fairness. Gallows and whipping posts aren't just punishments, they're public entertainment. And yet, not everything is doom and gloom. There are festivals, May Day dances, harvest feasts, drunken fairs where people laugh, gamble, and sing bawdy songs. You might play dice with neighbors, tell folk tales by the fire, or listen to traveling minstrels sing of knights and dragons. Of course, those knights and dragons are pure fantasy. Your life doesn't look like King Arthur's table. It looks like a mud-splattered slog. But stories matter. They distract you. They give you hope. They let you dream of glory while you're ankle-deep in manure. And so adulthood grinds on. Work, eat, pray, survive, rinse, repeat. If you don't die in your 20s from plague, accident, or childbirth, you might actually make it into old age. But don't get excited. Medieval old age doesn't look like retirement in Florida. It looks like chronic pain, superstition, and a slow shuffle toward the grave, which is exactly where we're headed next. Well, look at you. You made it past childhood, past famine, past plague, past war. Statistically speaking, you've already outlived most of your peers. If the average life expectancy hovers around 35, you're in bonus time. Except, here's the catch. Life expectancy in the medieval world is misleading. Many people did live into their 50s, 60s, even 70s, if they didn't die young. The problem was making it past the early years. But let's not sugarcoat. Old age in the medieval world, it sucked. Remember all that backbreaking labor? The endless stooping, hauling, digging, weaving? It's caught up to you. Your joints ache. Your teeth, the ones you haven't lost already, are cracked and painful. Your eyesight is going. Arthritis gnaws at your hands. And no, there are no glasses, no dentures, no Tylenol. You live with pain like it's just another piece of furniture in your hut. If you're lucky, your family cares for you. But remember, life is survival mode. If food runs short, guess who gets smaller portions? The elderly. Harsh math. The young and strong keep the family alive, not you. Medieval culture does respect elders, at least in theory. Your white hair gives you an aura of wisdom. Villagers might ask your advice, call you goodman or goodwife. You tell stories of times past, maybe frighten children with tales of witches and saints, but reverence only goes so far. You're not writing memoirs or enjoying leisurely retirement hobby. You're still working as long as your body can handle it, mending nets, spinning wool, tending small fireside chores. And with every cough, every fever, every lump or wound that won't heal, you know the end is creeping closer. The medieval world is obsessed with death, not in a poetic, gothic Instagram way. In a very real, death is around the corner way. You see it constantly. Children, neighbors, animal, whole villages wiped out by disease. Religion soaks it all up. Death isn't just an end, it's a test. Are you ready for heaven, or are you bound for hell? Maybe purgatory, if you're lucky. So, old age isn't peaceful reflection. It's constant anxiety about your soul. Did you confess enough? Did you atone? Did you anger God somehow? Will demons come for you at the final moment? These are the questions rattling around your head while you cough in the corner of your hut. Death isn't hidden away in hospital. It happens in the middle of life. If you're dying, you do it in your bed, surrounded by family and neighbors. Priests come to give you last rites, sprinkling holy water, pressing oil to your forehead. The whole village might stop by to say goodbye. It's communal, it's also terrifying. Everyone knows what's happening. And there's no morphine, no painkiller. You feel it all. And yet, there's ritual. Candles lit to guide your soul. Prayers whispered. Bell tolled. Your death is not a private moment. It's a performance for the living. When you finally go, your body is wrapped, carried to the churchyard, lowered into the earth. Maybe there's a wooden cross, maybe just a mound of dirt. Graves crowd together, bones shifting as the years pass. Death is ordinary, and life goes on. Your family mourns, sure, but they don't have time for long grief. The fields still need plowing. The animals still need tending. Survival doesn't pause. Your name might be remembered for a generation or two, then it fades. Unless you were someone important, a lord, a saint, a warrior. Your existence dissolves into the soil, indistinguishable from all the other. This is the medieval world. Brutal, repetitive, often dull, occasionally beautiful. Life is not knights and tournaments, castles and banquets. It's mud, it's smoke, it's hunger, laughter, love, birth, death, and endless toil. Yes, there are moments of joy. A festival with music and dancing, a child's smile, the taste of fresh bread from the oven. Yes, there are glimpses of wonder. Stained glass in a cathedral, the smell of spring field, the crackle of a fire at night. But mostly, it sucked. You wouldn't last a day. And yet, millions of people did, for centuries. Somehow, through all the dirt and pain, they kept going. They built the world we inherited. And maybe that's the strangest, most humbling part of all.